Good morning everyone. So I'm all packed and ready to go again. As you can see, I was staying in a hotel during the night, and behind me there is the bike. Yes, I did bring it into the hotel room, and all my stuff is packed and ready to go. Here's a little moan to the hotel industry. Okay, this is to do with Wi-Fi. Now this might seem a first world problem, it might seem a travel blogger problem, but it's not. Let's think about this. If you advertise Wi-Fi, it should be good and it should be strong. If you put in a plumbing system, you don't put a plumbing system in for like 20 rooms and then expect like one pipe to do everything, do you? The same with Wi-Fi. If you're going to offer Wi-Fi, make sure it's strong in all the rooms. As it was, my Wi-Fi sucked. Not good. I need my Wi-Fi. Anyway, moving on from that and back to the cycling. So today is going to be a 70-kilometre day, and I need to get off of Pag Island and catch a ferry over back to the mainland. And once I get onto the mainland, I believe it's a 200-metre, almost steep vertical ascent upwards, which will be a bit of a killer. But then after that, hopefully things should level out a little bit more. And I'm aiming to stay in a place called Senj. So I need to be in a campground in Slovenia for Tuesday, as Big Berry campsite is kindly hosting me for 2 nights for free. And it's a glamping site, so I'm looking forward to that. But obviously I need to get there, and there's quite a few mountains in the way. So the next 3 days, because it's Sunday now, are going to be quite tough cycling to get there, but it's all doable. Just take it nice and easy and turn the pedals and see what happens, basically. So I will hit the road and give you some images from the road, assuming that the battery in the GoPro doesn't run out again. Speak to you in a bit. Bye. Ah, the soothing sounds of classical music. I thought this music was quite fitting for this little bit of countryside. In a way it reminds me of Scotland, and it has a kind of elegant sparseness about it. There's little stone walls to one side and the other side. You can imagine that there would be sheep being farmed here, although I didn't actually see that much livestock here. In fact, of all the cycling I've done in Croatia, I've not really seen a lot of farming. Now admittedly, I've had the coast on one side and mountains on the other side for most of the journey, but I've not really seen much farming. And here it's like it's all laid out for farming, but nothing's really going on. So what is Pag Island all about? Well, I didn't spend long enough there to find out, but it is one of the more beautiful parts of Croatia that I visited. And I think exiting from where I was staying and heading towards the ferry sort of brought that back, and it was nice and relaxing as I cycled along. Of course, the relaxing didn't last that long. There was then a series of up and downy bits, as I like to put it technically. Other people call them hills. So I knew today was going to be a tough one, and in fact by the time I'd covered even 15 kilometres, I'd already gained 600 metres total ascent. So yeah, it was quite a challenging day on that front. So from where I was aiming to reach a ferry, and from the ferry I would leave Pag Island and then reach the mainland again. To do that, there was no shops really or anything along the way. It was just the road and fields on one side, fields on the other side, and these mountains in front of me. And as I headed towards the mountains, it kind of dawned on me that once I caught the ferry to the other side, I was probably going to have to cycle up the mountains, and they looked pretty big. So my idea of like a quick ascent on the other side and then smooth cycling was probably not going to pan out, and indeed it didn't. During the day I actually did a total of 1,000 metres ascent, which doesn't sound a lot. For people in old currency that's 3,300 feet I think, but when you've got a fully loaded touring bike, yes it is. Anyway, so I'm heading down towards where the ferry is now. I hadn't really researched the ferry times. It's not blind luck I go on. I know that the ferry is going to be running reasonably regularly. If I miss one, I'm sure I'd only have to wait like a half an hour or an hour to get another one. As it was, as I zipped down the hill, I could start to see a line of traffic waiting. And so it was pretty obvious that there was a ferry about to depart. So a fairly simple matter, just pull up to one little booth, buy a ticket for the ferry, which was 33 kuna, as they charged for the person and the bicycle, which I think is outrageous, but never mind. And then cycle up to the ferry to get on it. And obviously the cars are all waiting in a line, but I'm a bicycle, I've got priority, and that's the way it should be. So zip in and out, yeah, give him a bit of a close call there, and then head on to the ferry itself. And these little ferry crossings, I think the ferry crossing itself was about like 10 minutes or so. And it was pretty good once I got on there. I just leaned the bike to one side on the ship and then just enjoyed the sail over and the views of Pag Island. It's quite nice when you get a ferry like this and you zip past all the traffic, because these guys have been like whizzing past me, you know, for the last God knows how long, and it's nice just to be able to get one up on them and go straight to the front of the queue. So I just hand this guy my ticket, he tears a stub, and then I cycle on. All pretty informal, very simple. And I'm always a bit wary when I cycle onto the boats, if once I lean the bike to the side, if it's going to be like rocky waves, if the bike's going to fall over. So I ended up putting the bike next to this white car, and I thought, okay, if the bike falls over, it's probably going to cost me money, but it was a smooth crossing. So that's a view out over to some of the cars and where we're heading to, and that's a view out to the side. And that's where I've come from. And like I said, Pag Island was a bit of a highlight for me. So if you're planning on doing a bicycle tour in Croatia, I would say visit Pag Island. Now, I did meet a few bicycle tourers today en route, and I chatted to a few of them. A couple weren't going to Pag Island at all, which I thought was a bit of a shame. So they're going to carry on the coast route. But I think it's, I think it'd be a shame to miss it out, because they sounded like they had time. So it seems that everyone is coming in the opposite direction from me, which is fine, which means I get to say, hi to everyone, and there's two people in front of you that are half a day in front, and blah, blah, blah. But no one seems to be going in my direction. So everyone I ask, have you seen any cyclists going in this direction? Everyone says no. So I wonder why people do a north to south route predominantly. When I thought about it, all my other bicycle tours have been north to south as well. So I did the north of New Zealand to the south of New Zealand. I did Alaska to Argentina, and I did England to Cape Town. So yeah, it's just one of those peculiarities. Nationality-wise, on the cyclists that I've met 3 Spanish people now in total, a couple of Germans and a couple of Dutch. So, and all these Spanish people are kind of following the same route as well. So it's nice to see different people out on the road cycling. And these are a couple of the cyclists that I met. One was Spanish and one was German. So I asked about tunnels going up the road, and they said, yeah, there is one. And I thought, well, that's not a tunnel. Well, I don't know what it is actually, some sort of monument. But that's a tunnel. But not too big. Got through it, no problems, and on to the other end. And basically today was hard work. I had to dig a bit deep, but I felt strong at the end of it, and I just eat well, drink well, and get ready for the next day. And it also helps when you stay in a great apartment. Check it out. Well, as expected, that was a tough day's cycle, but let's have a look at where I ended up. €20 apartment. I think I'm the master at finding value for money. So this is the living room stroke kitchen, and that stuff on there, that's not what I would normally eat, but all the shops are closed and there's only the fuel station open, so I had to get whatever was there that was good, and that was the best of a bad bunch. So that's going to be lunch stroke dinner. And so we have a kitchen, and over here the bathroom, bedroom 1. And down here, bedroom 2. I know, a 2-bedroomed apartment for €20. What's going on? Croatia is like, some things seem expensive, and then all of a sudden something else will come and just shock you about how cheap or how much value for money it is. I don't like saying cheap. Value for money is what I'm going for. So there we go. End of another day's cycle, finishing at Senj. And the next 2 days until I get to Slovenia are going to be reasonably hard work. I expect a lot of ascent. The total ascent for today was 1,000 metres, and I expect pretty much the same for the next 2 days. So it's about 3 o'clock now, so for the rest of the day, basically, I'm just going to get rehydrated, eat as much as I can, get some rest, and then prepare for tomorrow. So that's it for now, and I will talk to you next time. Cheers.